I press my forward to the steering wheel. Been here for minutes now.
Is there another exit we could use? Onto a different street?
I look and check the mirrors, but don't see anything. The edges of the diner's property are surrounded by a cream-colored fence. Marina begins to sigh, but that quickly turns to a sound of surprise.
Amber, look!
She points past my face and out the window. An older lady in a little hatchback sedan has stopped to let us out. Two of us wave at her as we finally lumber onto the road itself.
Yay! I'm glad somebody was nice at least.
Yeah, still a long way to go though.
The long line of cars extends as far as I can see, before it finally goes out of sight around a bend in the road.
Why do you think it's so much busier here than the other places we've been?
Arches is one of the most popular national parks. Like, when you think of parks in the US, you think of Arches and the Grand Canyon and Yosemite, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people will be at those big spots.
Think it'll be like Shiprock again?
Oh, probably worse.
What, with the megaphone and law enforcement?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Maybe. Probably not. These parks are a lot bigger and more spread out. Way harder to have people watching. The only option would to be straight up closed.
And then you have horrible people who sneak in and out of bounds anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Who would ever do that?
Nobody we know, that's for sure.
Criminals. They're criminals.
It's okay. Once we're filthy rich, we can make a donation to the canyon or something.
Let's just buy the canyon and pay to have everything reconstructed.
Perfect.
It takes a while, but we finally make it past all the stoplights. After that, it's still slow going, but at least it's steady. Maybe 15 minutes past crawling through town before things start to pick up. Still a couple miles away, I can finally see the exit for the park itself. Some people continue past, staying on the highway, but most are in line for Arches. At least there's a whole lane for people like us. Traffic is congested like my nose in winter, but the end is in sight.
May as well get comfy. We're gonna be here a while.
Taking my advice, Marina leans back and props her feet up on the dash. Her dress bunches up by her knees, leaving most of her legs exposed. Ankles! Marina has ankles? Showing off those ankles? Ooh! Just like a harlot? Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness. I sneak a few guilty glances from the corner of my eye. Whoa, whoa! If I didn't know better, I'd think all the skin she shows was intentional. But it's Marina, which means she's not even conscious about this stuff. Sure she's not. Sure she's not. Marina's the top. Or me, for that matter. I wonder if she knows that I'm into her. To distract myself, I grabbed the box of tapes. Kept the music off earlier so that Marina could sleep.
Wanna pick this time?
Sure.
Setting it in her lap, she begins to rummage through the bin. Pretty sure she knows all the music I have by now. You've listened to every tape at least once. And I have an okay feel for what she likes and what she doesn't. Sometimes she taps her fingers to the beat or hums along when she likes what we're listening to. She doesn't, she flat out ignores it. When she settles on is an album of instrumental folk songs. Very stereotypical Western sounding. It's a little high energy for just sitting still in traffic, but that's alright, it's better than nothing. We just listen to the music, which I've cranked up loud while we wait. The album is nearly half over by the time we finally make it through the park gates. Beyond them, traffic mercifully lets up some. Not because there are fewer cars. There are more cars than rocks to be seen. Oops. But a lot of those are pulled off on the shoulder or cramped into parking lots. Nearly every inch of pavement that doesn't have a car in it has a person instead. Also, there are different trails and forks in the road, so not everyone is going in the same direction now. Being able to drive without having to tap the brakes every couple seconds is a relief. Pickup truck towing a trailer pulls off the shoulder ahead and back onto the road, so I take a spot. Putting it in park, I take a swig of stone-cold coffee.
Wanna grab the pamphlets?
Snagged a couple brochures back at the diner. Don't have a whole lot of info, but they're a starting point. Rena retrieves them and spreads them out on the table like puzzle pieces. Alongside them is the journal. Spine has lost all strength and the pages just flop around.
So, the journal says that it's buried between two things.
Right, but something out of the way.
Yeah. Peering out the windshield into the expanses beyond. There's a lot that could be considered
It'd have
out
to
of the
be
way.
something memorable. Or else he'd come back and have no idea where to go.
And anything memorable is probably gonna be something popular, right?
Exactly, yeah.
She flips through some of the pamphlets. They all have the same information on the same landmarks with just slightly different pictures. She was about to toss one of them, but it
Hand me
catches my
that.
eye. Marina passes over the brochure, and I turn to one of the inner pages. It has only one picture and a longer paragraph of text I read aloud.
One of the most famous landmarks in all of the park, Double Arch is a fan favorite, recognizable for its two elegant curves. Double Arch can be accessed via a short hike and is open to exploration.
Oh. I hold up the flyer so you can see the picture. It's of two huge arches of stone connected at one side but otherwise perpendicular from each other. She snatches it out of my hands for a closer look, nearly cutting my fingers.
Oh my god, you think it's between the two of these?
That makes sense, right? You definitely remember how it looks, and it's kind of out of the way.
Mm-hmm. The papers whiz past my face as Marina hurls them backwards and she points forward.
Choo-choo, full steam ahead!
I throw the RV back in the drive and pull out on the road again. There are signs everywhere for Double Arch, so we don't need the map that we got at the gate. We pass signs for other landmarks too, some with pretty weird names. There's the Parade of Elephants, for one thing, which is in the same direction as Ham Rock. There's even a phallic-sounding rock, simply called the Organ. All those are down exits we don't take. Instead, we soon end up in the back of yet another traffic jam. Marina stares out the window as we creep along. Where we are right now is nearly indistinguishable from the highways we've spent so much time on. There are a few actual arches around, but none distinct enough to get any real attention. Inch by inch, we advance down the road until we finally come to the parking lot for Double Arch. Only problem is, it's totally full. Not just busy, but packed. Every parking spot is taken, with a few cars jammed into an empty space that's clearly not meant for that. Like lice, people swarm up and down the arch itself, visible even from the road. At least this time it isn't off limits.
Looks like everyone else had the same idea.
Don't sound so glum. We can still go take a look.
If we can ever find somewhere to park.
Yeah, that is a pretty big if.
Always is. The entire caravan passes by the parking lot. There's at least a dozen cars behind me too. Maybe a half mile up the road, we come across another lot.
Up for a bit of walking?
Yeah!
Quickly take one of the remaining spaces. There are a few openings here. Looks like most people weren't as willing to walk as Marina is. Some of the cars behind us pull in too. We opt to leave the metal detector and other equipment in the RV for now. If we see anything that looks promising, we can come back and grab it. The walk back up to Double Arch doesn't take long, and it's nice to be outdoors again. We have to stick to the very edge of the road to avoid the stream of cars flowing towards us. Seems there were more than a dozen behind us after all. There's a short hike from the Double Arch parking lot to the arch itself. It's an easy one, and we don't even break a sweat. Up close, it's obvious that there aren't many people here just to see the sights. Almost everyone is carrying a shovel or other tool. There's a pair of park rangers watching, but they don't seem to be intervening at all. They just slouch against a wooden fence looking defeated.
Can you imagine how big of celebrities we'd be if anyone here knew we found the shipwreck treasure?
I whisper as quietly as I can to Marina.
Right? I was thinking about that earlier. I kinda wanted to show off, but that's probably not a good idea.
Like anyone would believe us anyway. But you don't want to have your face all over the New York Times as one of the girls who found the treasure?
Being in the local newspaper is on my bucket list.
Dream big, Marina.
My friends from school would totally have a heart attack when they found out. But don't they always say to keep it a secret if you win the lottery?
Yeah. Otherwise, people will never leave you alone. You'll get all sorts of messages from people you used to know or long-lost relatives.
I have enough not lost relatives to deal with. Plus, I don't want to get kidnapped and held for ransom or something like that.
Yep.
What about you?
No way. I'm just gonna quietly retreat into one of my 3 mansions when all this is over.
Oh, you're only gonna buy 3?
Yeah, gotta save the rest for my 14 new motorhomes after all.
She giggles.
Do I get to drive one of them?
Ooh.
Why not? But you could buy your own, you know.
No way! I'll just come bother you if I need one.
We've gotten as close to the arches as we can. The mob of sweaty people is too thick for us to push our way through. There are dozens of people sweeping over the dusty ground with metal detectors. Hanging back around the edge, Marina's smile fades away quickly.
Yeah, this is a bit of a mess.
People jostle and push each other out of the way. It's hard to believe anyone is actually prospecting so much as they are just trying not to lose your
Maybe
spot.
we should come back later?
I don't know if it'll be any better later, but maybe.
I guess. Though if the treasure is here, I feel like someone would have found it by now.
Feels like back at Canyon de Chelly.
You know, this must have been going on for a few days now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the enthusiasm she just had a minute ago when we were joking around has evaporated in the desert sun. A rock skips past my foot as she kicks at the dirt. I poke her and she yelps in surprise.
Hey now, I'm not saying we give up. I'm just saying we regroup and strategize. We can go see the rest of the park in the meantime.
Yeah.
Didn't you say you've wanted to see this place for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
It's obvious that she's still bummed, but there's nothing I can do about that. Once we're back in the motorhome, we leave the busy main road ASAP and spend a while seeing the sights from our air-conditioned comfort. Marina's mood improves steadily throughout the day, counteracted only by our growing hunger. Eat those pancakes, baby! As we pull back into Moab, we're both ravenous.
Wanna just heat up our leftovers? Guessing that's a no.
I'm not ready for pancakes again yet. I need a day or maybe a week.
Why does Amber have so much money to be spending on this trip? Like, between gas and the food, both for her and Marina? Like, why does Amber have so much money?
Let me know if you see somewhere you want me to stop.
Now that it's approaching evening, there aren't any more massive traffic jams going through Moab. We can cruise through at a steady pace, just like when we first got into Arches. Until I slam on the brakes.
You're kidding me.
Marina had been slouching, but pulled up right at the sudden stop.
What happened?
Just a few feet ahead, in the parking lot of the diner we ate at this morning, is Mariah's motorhome.
Look at that. It's them.
Well, I mean, did you not expect to see them? I point. Marina leans forward. When she recognizes their RV,
Should we
she
go
grins.
see them?
What? No way! That's extra reason to avoid that place.
But Amber, maybe we could see about teaming up for the treasure here or something.
That'd never happen. Mariah would rather lose every time than have our help. Besides, it's not like...
Please.
Already giving up in my head, I give Marina one last desperate look.
Seriously?
Yeah, even if we don't team up, it'd be nice to see them again.
Not sure if nice is the word I'd use.
Despite my muttering, I flick on my blinker and change lanes, pulling into the parking lot yet again. Like this morning, it seems pretty busy. I have to park next to Mariah's RV because it's the only open spot large enough. Marina skips out and towards the entrance while I trudge behind her. Doesn't take long to find the trio. Even amongst all the eccentric people that the hunt has drawn, their questionable fashion sense stands out. They have a large table near the back, bigger than the one Marina and I ate at this morning. Joseph and Tess share a bench while Mariah's spread across the opposite side. It's probably supposed to look sultry, but it comes across more like the bench is devouring her. When she sees them, Marina scurries to the back, hand raised in greeting. I bring up the rear, still slow.
Hey, guys!
Tess and Joseph both wave, the latter smiling when he sees us. Mariah looks surprised for a second, and then scowls and turns towards the wall. Feeling is mutual.
Hey, imagine running into you two here. Just get into town?
Nope, we've been here all day. We actually ate breakfast at this place this morning.
Yeah, you're always a couple steps behind us, I guess.
Mariah's glare is stonier than Double Arch itself, but of course she keeps looking at the wall instead of us. Joseph laughs though.
Here, let's break bread.
He and Tess scoot down the booth, making some room which Marina promptly fills. I'm left next to the smoldering fury that is Mariah. She moves her leg just a little, but enough for me to sit down.
Thanks. Sorry to barge in on you guys like this.
It's no problem. More the merrier.
I hope you don't expect us to cover your bill.
Groaning, Joe puts his hand over Tess's ears.
Would you at least try not to be a pain in the ass between the hours of 5 p.m. and 6 in the morning? It would make my life a lot easier.
Ooh. He uncovers Tess's ears and gives us a blank look.
She's right, though. There's no way we can afford that.
We had to dine and dash for breakfast.
So what about you? How long have you been here?
We got in around lunchtime. Spent forever and a half stuck in traffic, though.
Damn. He sounds worn out. I wonder if Mariah ever lets him drive, or makes him.
Us too. We were gonna look around Double Arch, but it was too busy.
Yeah, we took one look at it and just kept driving. Didn't even want to try it.
Sis said anyone who bothered to get out was a
You weren't supposed to hear that!
I told you, this girl hears everything.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we were thinking about heading back this evening. See if it maybe cleared out some.
Yeah.
We were gonna do that too. I was telling Amber that we should see if maybe you guys wanted to team up and we could look together.
Hell no!
The two of us look at each other. Seems all we ever agree on is not sticking together.
No offense to you, Joe. Just didn't wanna, you know.
I trail off trying to think of an excuse that didn't want to deal with Mariah, which is the truth. But Joseph just laughs and waves it off.
Nah, I get what you mean. Don't think Mariah would be too fond of splitting the goods either.
Marina frowns, but perks back up after just a second. Soon a waitress comes to take our order. Marina and I are careful to order meals on the smaller side, just sandwiches with fries. On the other hand, Mariah's order comes with a bunch of requirements as to what can and can't be on it. By the time she's made so many substitutions and extras, it hardly resembles the item described in the menu.
So, I can tell you ladies that it's not at the Parade of Elephants, and Delicate Arch was a no-go too. Think we might try Skyline next.
Good luck, I guess. I wonder how many of those the miner would have known about, though. Pretty sure this park wasn't founded till after the gold rush.
Joseph shrugs.
Amber knows a lot about these places. She's like an encyclopedia.
I can feel my face flush like always when she praises me.
Not really. I just know bits and pieces.
Still, something to be proud of. Aren't too many girls your age who care about anything that happened more than 5 years ago.
It's really nothing special. I just spent a lot of time on the road when I was younger.
That's so.
I appreciate his leaving it as an open-ended question rather than prying. Marina looks at me eyes wide, probably to see if I'm about to cry or something. I try to be nonchalant.
Yeah, until I was in middle school. My grandpa used to drive me all over the country.
Sounds like a fun time.
It was. He,
Guess there's no point in hiding it. Besides, Joseph has the kind of disarming air to him. Like he exudes calmness.
passed away a little while ago. Still a little.
I tap my throat, trying to get my point across. It does. Joseph
I'm
nods.
sorry for your loss. I know how hard that can be.
Thanks.
Marina's eyes flick between me and Joseph. She must be pretty worried, so I force a smile, even though I can feel that growing glumness that shows up anytime I talk about Gramps.
Meeting this dork has helped a lot, though.
I jerk my chin towards Marina, who looks shocked, as if I could have been talking
It's
about
been a
anyone
while
else.
moping around before that.
Family is good.
I blink. It's so easy to forget she's here.
Yeah, definitely.
I hadn't really thought of it before, but Tess seems to be in a similar situation I was, growing up on the go and all. Curious how it happened, but I won't ask. Not my place. A far-off look seeps into Joe's face. He stares out the window like he's gazing at something 100 yards away. Mariah glances up at him. For a split second, if that, she even looks a little concerned. Then it's right back to business as usual. She leers over at me and shoves herself back into the conversation.
So what are you going to do?
Huh?
When all this is over?
Dinner?
No, dumbass! I meant the treasure hunt! Forget it. I don't actually care.
Don't know yet. Mare and I have been kind of talking about that.
She's gonna buy 3 mansions.
Yeah, that. I'll have plenty of time to figure stuff out in my mansions.
3 of us chuckle, but then the conversation trails off. Tess and Marina are working on coloring Tess's menu. From what I can see, it has different characters than the one this morning. They look like they make a good team. Each of them work on separate pictures, but switch from time to time. So Marina will color the hair in one character, and Tess will color the clothes. Despite not talking at all, they don't ever get in each other's way. Joseph also observes from above, smiling slightly. He's usually the one to play with Tess, so it must be nice for her to have some company. On the other hand, like a jug of milk, Mariah's mood seems to be getting more and more sour. I don't even know what she's mad about this time. Maybe something happened before we showed up. Or maybe it's because we showed up. Either way, she ought to have memorized every single detail of the wall she's been staring at this entire time. She doesn't look up until our food arrives a bit later. It's a good thing we have a large table, because there's still hardly any room left once all the plates are set down. What do we got? We got wings, got grilled cheese and tomato soup. We got a big old steak. They're gonna dine and dash on a steak. Bastards. And sandwiches and fries. My sandwich is so big it takes 2 hands to hold. It should. And they have enough fries to stay in Ireland for the winter. When Marina picks up her sandwich, all the ingredients pour out the back. She quickly gives up trying to reconstruct it and just uses a knife and fork instead. Watching the other 3 eat is amusing too. Joseph chews with slow, measured bites, whereas Mariah attacks her meal like it owes her money. Across from her, Tess is cutting up chicken tenders with surgical precision. They're chicken tenders, I guess. Marina catches me staring and smiles at me covertly. Seems she noticed too. Mariah's the first to finish eating. Just a couple bites behind, that's embarrassing. She wipes her face with a napkin, then finally looks at me.
Where are you two staying?
Could be an innocent question, or it could be a trap.
Around. We'll find a parking lot somewhere.
You thieves are gonna have a late start then.
I guess. Don't tell me you planned ahead and got a campsite.
Don't be stupid! Of course not! Like, that's not what I meant!
I scoff as she backtracks to keep from insulting herself.
What I mean is, there's no way they're gonna bother checking every single permit. There's too much going on right now. Just pick a nice spot out of the way, don't make trouble, and it'll be fine.
Oh. Joe flatly stares at Mariah.
Easier said than done.
Good luck with that. I don't want to take the risk.
On foot, if you're trespassing and get caught, most of the time you'll just get thrown out. But I don't want to get our license plate getting written down or something if we were to do that. Do what she suggests. Mariah shrugs.
Suit yourself. Don't say I didn't never try to help you.
Didn't ever.
You ever camp here before, Amber? Sounded like you know the place.
Long time ago. I don't remember a whole lot. Just good at remembering names, I guess.
Useful skill to have.
Yeah. Used to be before we'd go anywhere. Gramps and I would research the place we were going. History and stuff like that.
You sure learned a lot of useful stuff from him, huh?
Yep. Always wanted to make him proud. He used to say I was a real chip off the...
My words catch in my throat. Not because I'm emotional, but because I just realized something. Remembered it, rather. Mariah and Joe know it too. Mine and Mariah's eyes lock and she bolts up at my words. The other two look confused.
We're leaving!
Oh shit, are they dining and dashing again? Mariah sprints for the door without paying, and I nearly yank Marina's arm out of its socket as we run to the exit. Other diners turn to watch us, but I barely notice them.
Amber! What the heck?
Definitely banned from that diner now, damn. Her voice is shaky
I
from
know
being
where the
jolted
treasure
around.
is.
I yell behind me as I turn to look and see the trio exit the restaurant close behind us. Joe's carrying
know
Tess
where
on
it
his
is.
back. I say it again to reassure myself. We reached the motorhome seconds after Mariah and her crew reached theirs. I practically hurled Marina up and into her spot before I leap into my own. Not even bothering to buckle up, I hurry towards the road. Oh my god. Why? Her hair is pink now? Ugh, these artists keep changing their mind on what Marina's hair color is. Less than a minute and we're already falling behind. I watch Mariah's taillights as she speeds up the road, horn blaring to scare away the cars unfortunate enough to be in her lane. Going as fast as I dare to, worrying about cops that could be lurking around one of the bends in the road. But I can't let her out of my sights. There's no room to pass yet, but I have to watch for an opportunity. With one hand, Marina clutches the headrest bar of her seat. Then she leans over and past my face, nearly causing me to swerve from shock.
What are you...
She grabs my seatbelt and buckles me in, then she does the same for
Okay,
herself.
now that we're at least not gonna die if you hit something, can you
There you
tell
go.
me what exactly is happening?
Sounds a bit frantic and a little curious.
Okay, so do you remember Balanced Rock?
It wasn't one of the places that we visited earlier today, but it's one of the spots that's on posters and in lots of the
I think
ads.
so, or at least hearing about it.
There used to be another really famous rock right next to it. Smaller, but a similar shape and everything. They called it Chip Off the Old Block.
Oh.
What do you mean, used to be?
I was getting to that. A long time ago, like 50 years or something, it fell. Now you can't even tell it apart from the rest of the rocks on the ground.
50 years. So that was...
Her eyes go wide in understanding. A fact which I look away from Mariah's rear
So
to
it was
take
still
in.
standing when the miner came through.
Yeah, exactly. I'll bet you anything he hid the treasure between Balanced Rock and what used to be Chip.
I look over again to smile at her, only to see genuine admiration and awe in her face. Her eyes are wide and her mouth slightly open. Like always, can't look at her for too long or it starts to make me uncomfortable. Also, you're driving. Nothing I've said or done is that impressive. Even Mariah knew about Chip. But instead of singing my praises again, she just faces ahead with a little smile. Then her face crumples up.
I see it.
A semi has begun pulling out on the road ahead of us. There's no passing lane, so I can't get around him that way. I tap the brakes since I'll have to stop and wait for him to get on the highway. Ahead, I can still see Mariah, but just barely. A few of the cars between us have exited, but her lead has grown. So I make a quick,
Hold
reckless
on to
decision.
something.
What are you?
I don't wait for her to finish her question since you guys are under your seat as she asks it. To answer, I yank the wheel to the left into the other lane, even though it's a no-pass zone. You're gonna get fined so bad. Headlights far ahead are speeding towards us, maybe a quarter mile away. Getting closer. Concrete barrier prevents me from going any further to the left. I smash the gas pedal to the floor, putting all my weight on it. Marina begins to moan with dread at the oncoming car. It's a wordless sound, or maybe the start of my name. My heart is in my throat and I can feel beads of sweat on my forehead. One slides down into my eye, but I can't wipe it away. Or even with the semi now, he seems to be stopping. He probably noticed me and is waiting for me to complete my illegal pass. Car ahead of us is close enough I can see it in our headlight beams. It's a maroon SUV, they're braking as they approach. But I'm still accelerating, going so fast I couldn't stop the time even if I wanted to. Like a missile, we shoot forward. I'm at least double the speed limit right now. We come even with the front of the semi, which is hardly rolling. The SUV has come to a complete stop, but there's barely any room between it and the semi now. And then suddenly, we're past the cab of the truck. I wrench the wheel to the right, hard right, throwing us back into our own lane. We zoom past the stop SUV, who gives me a well-deserved horn blaring. The bassy sound of the semi's horn also booms behind us. It doesn't matter because we're okay, we didn't die. Don't fucking do that. A need to breathe hits me, and I realize I've been holding it in. I sigh, adrenaline still coursing through me.
Oh my god! Amber!
Her voice cracks and she starts to laugh hysterically. I do too, laughing away the anxiety of the last half minute. It felt like much longer. And it's not entirely over
Don't
yet.
get too comfy.
Her hand shoots back to where she was hanging on.
Oh.
Just ahead, Mariah still has the lead, but shrinking quickly. I wonder if she saw how I caught up. Jamming the gas pedal down again, I start to narrow the distance even more. Takes the exit for Arches just a few seconds ahead of me. We blaze through the entry point, flashing our passes at rangers who barely have time to check them. Even in the darkness, there are lots of people on the sides of the road. I wonder if anyone else has had the same realization we did about Chip. Mariah's starting to gain ground again, so I mash the accelerator further down, but her motorhome is nearer than mine, and it's hard for me to keep up. If I'm gonna beat her there, I'll have to do it soon. Check to make sure Marina's still holding on tight. She is. Just a few feet behind Mariah's RV, I illegally swing into the other lane yet again. This is even more risky because of the way the road curves all around the canyon. Oh my god. An oncoming car could round a bend completely blindside us. Yeah, don't fucking do that shit. Oh my god. Crazy people. Hope that doesn't happen. By pushing the RV to its absolute limits, I'm able to break even with Mariah. Looking over, I can see a wild flare in her eyes, hair disheveled. Her expression changes to one of shock when she notices us beside her. I relish in the look of disbelief as they nudge the wheel to the right. There's a god-awful scraping as the motorhome pushes against Mariah's. Her eyes as well as Marina's right. Amber, what the fuck is wrong with you? Seconds after we pull apart, Mariah's vehicle lurches towards us, and there's another sound that makes me want to rip my ears off. I fight to keep control of the motorhome and stay on the road. What the fuck is wrong with you? Awestruck bystanders watch as we pass them by, but I hardly register them. Still neck and neck, we continue towards Balance Rock. Through insane luck or divine intervention or something, the road ahead is clear. I won't try to shove them off the road again, because there are now steep drop-offs that could actually be fatal. But I do have something to gain an edge. Just arriving seconds before her isn't enough. A sign, visible for just a split second, informs us there are 5 miles to Balance Rock. What might have been an arrow for an exit has been scuffed to illegibility. Maybe that's our chance. Up ahead, barely illuminated by a flickering lamp, the road splits into 2 directions. A sign in the middle is smashed and folded in on itself, probably the result is someone's reckless driving. One of these paths leads to Balance Rock, but I don't know which. I'm willing to bet Mariah doesn't either, though. From Marina's window, I can see Mariah shoot me one final death glare before they rocket off down the exit. We stay on the other branch, though I'm back in the proper lane now. Just gotta hope it's the right branch. As I start to calm down yet again, I realize my legs are shaking. Marina cranes around to watch Mariah's vehicle, which is quickly disappearing into the murk. Once it's fully out of sight, she turns back to me, her face as white as her knuckles.
You okay?
Change my mind, don't marry this girl, Marina. Guilt stabs me. I may have seriously traumatized her, with 2 incidents, within minutes of each other. After taking a deep breath, she unclenches her fists.
Can we never, ever do that again?
Yeah, don't do that shit.
That was insane. Super insane. Like, oh my god. I thought I was gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Did we die? Am I just imagining this now?
Yep.
I don't think you could imagine stuff if you were dead, kid.
That's the kind of thing a dead person would say.
Is it?
Like in that one movie where it was all about that guy who could talk to dead people, except...
Oh my gosh.
Fine. I'm 90% sure we're not dead then.
Okay. 90%. That's not bad. And being a ghost might be kind of cool too. You could spy on people without them ever knowing.
I'll
my
keep
God.
that in mind if there's ever someone I want to haunt.
Our voices are shaky, even though our conversation isn't serious. I keep checking the rear view, expecting to see the headlights of Mariah's approaching vengeance, but so far we're in the clear. Each passing minute that we don't see the rock itself, though, makes me worry that we took the wrong turn. Right on the verge of turning around and tailing Mariah, another sign suddenly looms up ahead of us. We've reached Balance Rock. I slow down as we approach the parking area. While not empty, there are far fewer people here than there were at Double Arch earlier today. A good number of them look like they might just be sightseers, since they're standing around talking or looking at the stars instead of searching. Parking is easy, since there are a lot of open spaces. When I stand up, my legs wobble. I stumble, grabbing Marina's shoulder for support. She smiles at me but doesn't say anything. No more jokes to crack. It's time to get serious. We grab our equipment and hurry out into the night air. Solid ground feels foreign after the rocketing motorhome. This must be what it feels like to return from a voyage at sea. Marina, the landlubber, doesn't seem to be having any trouble now that we're not barreling along the highway. Spring in her step has returned, and I worry she's going to bang the metal detector against the ground as she half walks, half skips. Some of the other people watch us go, but no one follows or says anything. They probably assume we're just next in the line of failures. A line which must be pretty long, given how much trash and misplaced earth there is around here. Pangs of guilt remind me yet again of the broken brick at Canyon de Chelly, and I make my upteenth resolution to be more careful. Just ahead, Marina's come to a stop. Head tilted back, I can tell she's admiring Balanced Rock. Certainly an impressive view. Someday I'd like to take her back to all these places we've gone, but without the pressure of treasure hunts rushing us, just taking in the sights. I slow my steps a little, so I can keep watching her from behind. Hey! Maybe sensing me, she spins around and waves.
Hurry up!
Yelling, even though I'm close enough to hear her normal volume level. Pick up the pace once more.
So where was Chip?
Over there, to the right.
There's a large stone wall besides Balanced Rock itself, with a short slope
It
between
was right
them.
at the edge of that little hill.
So where that pile of rocks is now?
Yep, that's the spot.
You can't tell that there used to be anything there, but I've seen pictures in the atlases Gramps kept around, or in the history books he liked to read. Compared to Balanced Rock, Chip off the old block looked tiny, but it was actually a decent size. There's a pile of stones at the base that are probably Chip's remains. They're indistinguishable from the rest of the red rocks, though. Some are as big as my head or even bigger. It's hard to tell if anyone else has picked through here, but since there aren't any shovel marks or holes,
Where do
I'm
we
guessing
start?
not. Think for a moment.
First, let's get the easy stuff out of the way. You go check that side with the metal detector, and I'll check this one.
We sweep over the ground between the hill where Chip once stood and the massive stone wall behind it. Nothing.
Okay, that's pretty much what I expected.
Could be under the rubble. I lean my metal detector against the wall and go back to the pile of rocks.
Just check over the places that I uncover, okay?
Irina nods, holding her detector at the ready. She reminds me of a sergeant about to perform an operation. I roll aside some of the rocks with my feet, but most are so big that I have to stoop down and use my hands. More of them than I thought, and I'm soon sweaty and
Do you
sore.
want any help?
Use your knees!
Nah,
Panting.
just keep scanning.
She does so, dutifully retracing my steps, still nothing. After a couple minutes, I stand up and take a swig from a water bottle. I'm glad I remembered to bring them this time. Marina sets down her metal detector to do the
You
same.
think Tess and them are okay?
Why wouldn't they be?
Probably lost as fuck.
Don't you think Mariah's gonna flip out when she realizes she took the wrong turn?
Probably. That's her fault, though.
Not like you would have let her go down this side of the road.
Right?
Hey, I did what I had to do.
Uh-huh. But you're never going to do that again, okay?
Don't do it.
If we get the next treasure too, I won't have to.
When we get it, you meanie.
Right. When?
Only one more to go after this. One more frantic search and then... I drain my water bottle and crumple it before shoving it into my pocket. Okay,
Break's
at least
over.
don't leave it on the ground.
Back to work.
I pop my back and resume moving rocks out the way. I've been working from the outer edge of the rock pile inward, since they're more concentrated in the center. Like a shadow, Marina continues to stick to me, going where I go. Nearly 10 minutes of uninterrupted shuffling pass. By now I'm expecting Mariah to have caught up or get here soon. She never arrives. Maybe she just gave up. Although, knowing Mariah, that's just wishful thinking. I've just finished moving a torso-sized rock when it happens. The metal detector begins to chirp, bright and earnest. Marina and I exchange a look and I nod.
I'll get the shovel!
It's leaning up against the wall with a second metal detector. Marina grabs it. They have two metal detectors? Marina grabs it, starts back towards me, and then doubles back to set her detector aside as well. We take the shovel from her, but she holds it away, shaking her
You
head.
moved all the rocks.
Yeah, but I...
He frowns at me and I can tell this is an argument I won't win.
Okay, okay. Be careful, though. Don't throw out your shoulder.
Aw.
I know what I'm doing.
And she stabs at the ground like she's wielding a salad fork. It bounces off with a jolt.
You need to go at it with more of an angle, like you're trying to slide it into the ground.
I move behind her and adjust her arms a little. Her shoulders are damp with sweat, though I'm drenched with it. She tenses up first when I touch her, but relaxes almost immediately. It's enough to make me self-conscious, though, when I take a quick step back.
Sorry.
I'm mumbling.
Oh, no, you're fine. You just surprised me.
Voice is higher than usual.
It's okay. You should have it now.
Nodding, Marina jabs at the ground again. She scoops out a little bit of dirt and dumps it aside. Watching her dig is painful. Either the ground is hard or she's not strong enough to make fast progress. Whatever the reason, it's slow going, but she refuses my repeated offer to take over, so with my hands on my hips, I watch the hole very slowly get deeper. She's reached a depth of maybe a foot or so when the shovel thumps against something that isn't dirt. Our eyes instantly meet. Stoop down and brush a little away from the shovel blade. Sure enough, I can feel rough wood just beneath my fingertips. Did they get it?
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Now she forces the shovel towards me.
I don't want to mess it up.
Okay.
She steps back a couple feet but leans forward to watch. I scrape at the dirt around the spot that we hit, trying to find where the edges are. Once I reveal one corner, I start to dig thin slices of dirt next to it. Soon the outline of the whole box is visible. I hear Marina suck in a sharp breath. My heart is pounding with the same cautious excitement I felt at Shiprock. It hardly feels real, and yet... well, there's only a 10% chance that I'm dead and it isn't. I lift the box out of the ground with the blade of the shovel and Marina plucks it off. Makes a familiar rattling sound as she moves it. They did it! But I hold up a dirty finger to my lips.
Not yet.
Yeah, you're around way too many people right now. Looking back towards the parking lot, I can't tell if anyone has seen us. Seen us dig and find the treasure.
Don't say anything until we get back to the car.
Like you should have done at Shiprock. She's a quivering leaf of excitement, but she manages to keep her mouth mostly shut for now. But not before hissing out an excited, "Camper!" I just smiled, hoping that it'll look calm. Marina cradles the box in the crook of her arm like an infant, doing her best to keep it hidden from onlookers as we head back to the motorhome. Carries the shovel in her free hand, while I have both metal detectors. Don't even notice the soreness in my arms. Y'all are gonna get robbed. Though it's not the first time, the excitement of sitting down in front of the sealed box of gold feels fresh and new. This one feels heavier than the last one, and it rattles to us, like there's not as much empty space. Without being asked, Marina retrieves the screwdriver and hammer that I've been using to smash the locks. She sets them down in front of me, but I offer them to
Care
her.
to do the honors?
You sure?
Yeah, why not?
Her face lights up with a look of happiness that's worth more to me than gold. If I'd known it was that big a deal to her, I'd have let her do this back at Shiprock. Takes her a couple of tries, but she bashes the lock off without even damaging the rest of the box. She looks to me to open it, but I shake my head.
Nope, that's all you.
Hell yeah. And she shakes her
Work
head
together to find it, so we'll open it together.
too. She places her hand over mine, guiding it to the lid.
Ready?
Yeah.
She maneuvers my hand to flip the box open. It's full of dull-colored nuggets, like a moldy fast food meal. I take one out, bouncing it on my palm and feeling this heavy softness that's almost familiar by now. Then I pass it to Marina, who treats it with her usual reverence. She gently sets it back in the box and then smiles.
We're pretty good at this whole treasure hunting thing, huh?
I shut the box and nod.
Yeah, we're not bad.
So now what? Even when the box is closed, it radiates a heavy aura, one that's almost intimidating whenever I come near it. I place it in the drawer and seal it away, a sigh of relief following.
2 down, 1 to go.
Whoa, there's only one more piece left?
I think so. There's only some experts writing about historical relevance after the next entry.
Okay, flopping down on the couch next to Marina, I take a sip of my coffee and flip to the final entry of the journal. Shouldn't it be the first entry? Because he was going... right? Didn't he start in California and was going back towards, what, the Dakotas or something? I don't remember. Marina glosses over the page, a hazy look forming in her eyes as she soaks it in.
I can't believe it's almost over.
Yeah, it's weird that it hasn't even been that long.
The motorhome goes quiet, the buzz of the generator humming in the background.
Well, it's not over yet. We still gotta figure out where it is, and then there's still the search.
I think Marina's enthusiasm is becoming infectious. She simply nods, now just gazing into her
let's
lap.
see what it says.
Oh god. After several days of travel, I believe I have finally arrived at my first destination. It is well known I have an... Okay, yeah, last entry but first entry, I guess. It is well known that I have an astute eye for locations. After all, this is how I found my precious bounty, so it is no mistake that I easily found the perfect hiding place within this valley. I arrived on horseback at the blistering peak of noon, looking for shelter from the coming night, began noticing something different, something distinct. Crimson, all of it. Shades lighter than pink and darker than blood, the color stained it all. From giant unmovable stones to the tiniest grains of sand, it was as if the land had absorbed the sun's heat and reflected it outwards. Even at sunset, the cave I settled in emanated a bright red glow that speckled out from its opening. That night, as I laid on the ground watching the flames of my fire shoot up to the cave's roof, I wondered if there were more places like this out in this unsettled land. During my travels on the trail, I was too preoccupied with preparations to observe the world around me. But now that I have achieved success, maybe I shall. It would be a shame if my superb observational skills went to waste. I was never certain about the other locations, and considering how many giant rocks, canyons, and arches are in this country, most of them are probably just a fluke. But this is unmistakable. The vivid and breathtaking imagery, the constant allusions to flames, and most importantly, the heat.
He hid it in the Valley of Fire.
Marina snaps back to attention, my conviction pulling her back from Marina
Are
Land.
you sure?
Positive. There's no other place it could be.
Oh.
You might as well have shot down my momentum with an elephant gun.
Oh, that's all?
Yep.
No.
Ooh, what's that? A place always on fire?
She narrows her eyes to an unimpressed squint. If they could shoot lasers, they would be right now.
Amber, how dumb do you think I am?
I didn't say you were...
Always on fire, really?
Now I feel dumb for saying it.
Probably should.
Her enthusiasm is infectious, and so is my unrelenting realism. It's corrupting her innocence.
By the way, what's the Valley of Fire?
Oh, maybe not too infectious. Massaging my scalp, I shake my hair, hopefully creating enough new wrinkles in my brain that will help with explaining this.
Alright, so take a whole bunch of rock, sand, and dirt, okay?
Okay.
Now make most of it red.
My explanation is met with a vacant stare.
I swear, it's a lot cooler than I'm making it out to be. It's just kind of hard to explain without pictures.
Don't worry, I believe. Sounds awesome. Where is it anyway?
A little ways into Nevada.
Nevada?
Her knees bounce, jolting the table.
Are we even old enough to gamble?
No.
There's more in Nevada than Vegas, dummy.
Actually, yes? I don't remember. Is it 18 or 21?
Still, isn't that pretty far?
I think it actually is 21. Right?
That might work to our benefit.
How you doing today, Glock? Welcome in.
I'll need to check the map again, but I think we'll be passing by a place I want to check out.
Ooh. Yeah, get married in Vegas. Swing by Vegas to get married, you two. My voice brightens.
You actually want to go sightseeing?
Don't
Hell
act
yeah.
so surprised. It's not like I was gonna make a straight shot for California before I picked you up.
That's true.
Besides, I think you might like it.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna stop in Vegas and get married.
It's a place called Zion.
Oh, yeah.
It's a national park here in Utah. I hear it's a hell of a lot greener than the places we've been through. I know we're in a rush, so we won't stay very long.
She's going to burst from excitement, and I still can't resist messing with her. It's cute.
But I guess
They
if
still
you don't
haven't
think
kissed.
we can afford the time...
I expect her to throw herself at me, hug me, squeeze me with all the energy and happiness she usually does it with. But she doesn't. Sitting perfectly still, Marina takes a single breath and gazes at me with a
I've
smile.
been surrounded by desert all my life. Seeing green for once would be nice.
I know, yeah, when Marina first said that she just graduated high school, I was like, no, Amber, back off, Amber. And then Amber was like, yeah, I'm only 19. I was like, oh, okay then.
I'd love to go with you, Amber.
Aww. An unsettling hollowness expands in my chest as I realize I don't know how to deal with a serious Marina.
Oh. All right then.
They almost kissed the Grand Canyon. And then Mariah interrupted them. Because of course she did. She doesn't answer. Eyes now closed, arms folded in her lap, the empty, cooperative smile more forced than ever.
Well, there's still a lot of hours left in the day. I'm not sure if we'll make it in time to check into the campground, but we'll be close enough that we can do it in the morning if we leave now.
We scooch out of the booth and walk the 10 awkward steps to our seats. Strapping ourselves in, I switch on the ignition, the RV snorting into being. Reach for the cassette player, then look to Marina, already lost in her thoughts as she stares at the window. I don't have the heart. No. I don't have the courage to snap her out of it this time. Sighing, I bring my hand back without pressing play and pull the motorhome into drive. It's too bad though. I think I'm really starting to like Marina's hugs. Yeah, you are. Hours and several cups of coffee later, we've arrived at our destination, or at least close enough to easily check in the morning, yet hidden enough to not get towed. Marina looks to the window, but her eyes drift back over to me, then mine to hers. For one drawn-out second, our eyes are interlocked, petrified by the other's stare. You're driving! Then time continues. Our heads swing in the other direction so fast it takes my mind a few moments to catch up. You're driving, Amber! The side of her cheek I can still see is flushed. Glancing in the rearview mirror, I find mine are too. I grip the steering wheel, then cautiously, without turning my head, look back to Marina. She notices, our eyes connect again. You're driving! Blush, rinse, repeat. The past few... Just park on the side of the road. And, like... You've been in this RV for days now. Come on. We all know it. I wanted to give Marina the space she needed to say what she has to. Or give myself the space to blurt out what I need to say. It was just... Again, Marina looks, I jump, we blush. Never the right time. Deciding I've had enough, I hop out of my seat and stretch. Marina follows. I grab my mug from the holder and drag myself across the starchy carpet to the sink. A small jolt shocks my finger as I reach for the faucet. The mug slips from my hand and crashes onto the counter, splashing coffee everywhere.
Let me help.
Why are you getting shocked as you... Oh, I guess the carpet. Okay. Marina springs over and reaches for a kitchen rag, but I swat down her hand and grab it just as she does.
Don't worry.
Now we're forced to look directly at each other, but there's no blushing this time. I nod and pull away the rag as her fingers slide down the fabric.
I got this.
She stares down at the counter, the spilled coffee trickling onto the floor with a steady drip.
Oh.
Without another word, she slouches back to the couch.
If you give me a sec, I can set up the bed.
The bed's metal frame slams down with a large clank that vibrates underneath my feet, followed by the couch cushions swishing past me, landing on the other side of the motorhome.
For ya.
Damn it. For real? Oh my god. Whatever, I'll deal with this in the morning. I toss the rag into the sink and heads to my room, hesitating in front of the slider. Please don't let it end like this.
Amber.
Come on. There's a pause. Several times I hear small gaps like she's about to speak, but they all just melt to sighs. Come on!
Good night.
Ah! Ah! You're both useless. Come on.
Night.
Ugh. My hand balls into a fist, my fingernails clawing deep into my skin. I step into the room and shut the slider behind me, immediately throwing my face into the pillow. I can feel my heart pounding as I roll onto my back, lying there twisted up in my sheet. It just keeps beating and beating, never settling down. Ugh, that sounds like a problem, Amber. Oh my gosh. It's probably all those energy drinks she's having. Managing to lift myself up on my elbows, I look at the picture next to the slider.
Oh, and the little teeth.
The one with the vinyl sleeve. I still remember how his hand felt against my head, from the bony joints of his fingers to how their calluses massaged my scalp. For such a breezy old man, it's amazing to think just how strong and confident his love was. I let my head fall back against the bed and rest my forearm over my face.
Man. What am I gonna do, Gramps?
Just tell the cute girl you like her. Oh my god. Finally, the end of the chapter. Okay.